Hello, welcome to my channel. Today is an exciting day for me because it's time to start my seeds. My warehouse is finally going to be at a temperature that I feel comfortable starting my seeds. So during the actual summer months, we are climate controlled, but in our colder time periods, we do not turn the heat on because I learned that the hard way the first time I did that. So it's been quite nippy here in the warehouse, and I feel like I'm like 2 or 3 weeks behind on starting seeds, even though I do have heat mats and I have thermostats. I didn't feel comfortable trying to start seeds in a super cold facility. So next grow season, hopefully fingers crossed, we will be able to, or I will be able to start seeds in my house where I will have climate control, and that would be really great. Then I can start them as soon as I finish Christmas. So we are starting for sure tomatoes and peppers today, and flowers. And I need to check. So I use Seed Time. I'm going to pop up a little thing that kind of shows you a little quick blurb about Seed Time and what my seed time looks like. Now, I haven't actually built out my garden layout. So this next year, my grow area is just going to be straight rows. I do have the intention, once the house is fully built and I no longer have big trucks and equipment rolling across my land, I want to be able to create some cottage core type flower gardens. But for now, I don't know that I would be even successful in that because I don't know where the trucks are going to go. So we're just experimenting with what kind of flowers I will be good at growing. And so everything's just going to be in long rows. And I'm excited. So let me grab my notes. I already know I'm doing tomatoes and peppers and all of that. I'm going to show you a quick preview of my seed setup situation. We're going to get going. I do have to prep my soil, so that's something on the list. And I am following Soil and Margaritas. She is going to be doing a little plant baby sale. So she's going to be growing seedlings and then selling her seedling babies. So I'm so curious about that because if I get really good at growing seedlings, then I'd like to do that too. So all the things, but the first step is to prep my soil. And yeah, so let's flip the camera around and show you kind of my layout right now, my setup right now, and then I'm going to get my seed starting mix. So I went with Fort V because of the recommendation from Soil and Margaritas. If you don't follow her, please go do that. She has a YouTube channel and an Instagram, probably a TikTok, but I follow her on Instagram and YouTube. So yeah, let's get going. Okay, so real quick, I know that I for sure am doing all of these. I'm starting all of these, but I do have a bunch more flowers that I just have to do some research to see if I'm starting them now, because I didn't get them all put into my seed time planner because they don't do a ton of flowers in their kind of plant library, and they don't do any perennials right now, which sucks because that would be your garlic, your strawberries, your, I guess some lavender can be perennial, and what else would that consist of? Anyways, so I didn't put all of my flowers in there because I have a bunch of flowers that I want to grow, and I think ultimately I am just gonna I might wing it. Everything won't get planted out until I'm past my frost date, which is middle of April or earlier April. I think April 11th, April 8th, something like that. And as a reminder, I am in Texas. I'm at 8B, but like that really doesn't mean a hill of beans. You have to pay attention to your frost date. So anyway, so I've got tomatoes, lizanthus, marigold, eucalyptus, lavender in this stack. And then in this other stack, ignore the purple whole peas. I just picked those up because I was like, hey, why did I not have that on my list? So I did grab some purple whole peas. I grew up eating them, and I love purple whole peas. So we've got parsley, lettuce, echinacea, broccoli, and cosmos. And so all of that will get started too. So I do have my garden planner. This is from the Dallas Garden School. So she's in my area. I think she's technically 8A. I think we used to be 7B here, and then the USDA changed the hardiness zone, but I think everybody around here still kind of follows the 7B, but again, it's all based on your frost date. So if we go into the week we are in, which is the third full week of January, seed indoors, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, collard greens, kale, lettuce, tomatoes, spinach, Swiss chard. I can't say that flower, ageratum. It's probably not spelled that or said that way. Anyways, bells of Ireland, echinacea. I can't say that one either. Cosmos, I don't have that one, so I can't say that one either. And marigolds. And then by seed outdoors, spinach and Swiss chard. And then a lot of different flowers can be seeded outdoors. I have calendula. I also have dill. And what else do I have out of this list? Well, I think I have some larkspur. I definitely have poppies. I have scabiosa. I have snapdragon, strawflowers, and sweet peas. Sweet peas I already have out in the garden, but I don't know if they have made it. I'm pulling all of the garden frost cloth off today. So now we are in a window of time where I don't need it. And then by transplant, onion plants. And I do need to go get some onion plants. So anyways, I am also just going to go ahead and start my peppers. I think next week, technically, which we're really close to next week because this is the weekend that I'm filming, I can start out peppers by seed. So I'm going to go ahead and just start them. But I am curious. It says I can seed outdoors some of these flowers, but I'm probably just going to go ahead and seed them in because I do not have, like, my warehouse isn't climate controlled, so we're going to stay in the range that I think they're going to be okay in. And then I don't necessarily need heat mats for them. So anyways, I thought about it. I thought about putting them out, but I can control their environment here versus there because I'm not dealing with deer or rodents eating up my baby seedlings. So I'm going to just start everything inside. So also, my seed time planner doesn't necessarily fully align with what is in here, so I'm just going off of both of them. So let's prep the soil. So here is my setup, and like I mentioned, I have Fort V. I bought the Fort V. It was most economical to buy it from Johnny's. You can get it from a lot of different places, but I ended up just buying it from Johnny's. So I actually have two, I believe these are 45 quarts. Yep, two of these, which is what I will be using. And I've got a tub. I'm going to pour some of it in the tub. I do want to eventually get a big, like, tote to put one bag of seed starting mix in, but for now we're just going to utilize this. And I do have some leftover Jiffy organic seeding mix, seed starting mix, so I might just use that up first before I break into that. But I've got all of my trays and stuff here. I've got one grow mat out here. I don't think I'm going to need the rest of my grow mats, but I do have them just in case. And then my lights are all installed. I do have my timer right here. I did just watch somebody have a genius tip of getting one of those Wi-Fi plugs, smart plugs, and you can turn the timer on the smart plug and control it from your phone. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's really kind of genius, unless you have really bad internet. So, but for now, I'm just going to use the timer. And I have, under this blanket, I have all of my seed boxes. It was getting a little nippy in here, so I just went ahead and kind of insulated these guys. Here they are. And yeah, so like I said, I got to do some research on the rest of my flowers if it's time to go ahead and get them seed started. So, all right, I gotta prep my soil, so let's get to doing that. Okay, so I am just gonna work on my soil right here, and get some things kind of moved out of the way. I'm just going to go ahead and finish up these bags. And just a quick little tip that I have learned in my research of not failing at all of this is that because this stuff is so dry, you want to get it moistened before you ever do anything with it, which is why we need to do it this way. Probably extra steps, but I do see a lot of people do this, so I guess I could technically put water in the bag, but that may not work out the way I want it to. So I also saw somebody talk about putting cinnamon in. Oh, this is a lot more moist than that other bag, but not as moist as it needs to be. So I saw somebody talk about putting cinnamon, like that was one of their hacks, because cinnamon helps prevent fungus on your plants, and helps, I guess, in preventing algae growing on top if they get a little too wet in the watering process. Ooh, smells like dirt. Smells like dirt. Okay. Get it all. Ooh, this is nice. So the goal is to bring in some warm water. That was the recommendation, is to put warm water in. So that is my next step. All right, I've got warm water. Let's just add some in. And so you don't want it, according to the person I watched, you don't want it to be like overly watered, but you want it moist enough so that when you actually bottom water, it will wick up into your seedling areas. So this is pretty close. Let's get some more. I'm probably gonna have to get some more. It's quite a bit of soil. Quite a bit of soil here. Actually might be good. I got all of the dry, it's all fully mixed in, so you don't want it too wet. then it'll just make your seedlings or your seeds soggy. So I am gonna need a little bit more. All right, let's get a little bit more. And just a little bit more, just to get that lower layer that's sitting on the bottom to pick up some of that water, because it was a little bit dry on the bottom. This feels like if you go to one of the big box stores and you get a bag of mulch that has, you know, you've recently had a rain. This feels like that. But so not soggy, just right. This is good. This is good. This is good.